Charge your worth. Yeah, me either. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense for so many reasons, but for three main reasons. One, it's completely subjective to you, your clients, and the market. Two, you can't replicate it across your products and services. And three, it's really triggering. If you're asked to sit and determine your own worth in a work context, where do you even begin with that? So, I'm going to talk you through a way that I help service-based businesses price their services consistently and in a way that enables them to grow their business and meet the goals that they have for themselves. It's going to be packed full of information, so grab a pen and paper and start taking notes because you are going to want to write this down. I'm Steph from Innovate and Thrive Co, a business design consultant who helps service-based businesses to thrive through strategy, operations, and intentional design. Good pricing is almost impossible to distill into a simple formula. There's just no way of doing it. Not if you want to have a holistic approach to pricing. If you were to Google it, you'd find lots of different strategies. Something like cost plus pricing, for example, which I'm going to dig into in my next blog. That's around finding out all your base costs and then adding a markup on it. It sounds simple. It does have its disadvantages, which I'll go through in the next blog. You might look at value-based pricing, again coming up in a blog so that you can get familiar with these strategies. You might look at competition-oriented pricing, so what are your competitors doing, and then you base it solely on that. There are any number of different ways, all have advantages and disadvantages. There's no one size fits all, and that's really the one of the key takeaways to pricing is there is no one size fits all. But there are things that you can include that will really, really support your business. And that's what I want to talk through with you now. One of the challenges we face as service-based business owners is that we're often trading time for money, and that's become quite a buzz catchphrase. But it means something, and it means that we are simply exchanging the time that we are sat working for cash. And the problem with that is that we're not always sat doing client work, and we like to have holidays, and businesses are expensive. We are paying for systems and we're paying for equipment and software, and there's things that we are spending out on that don't get taken into consideration when we're exchanging time for money. And so for me and my clients, it's really important to have that holistic approach and to really consider the business as a whole when we're calculating pricing. So a really good starting point is to figure out all of your costs. And that includes things like your operating costs, the things we just mentioned. What are you paying out for to keep your business running? It could be office costs, it could be people costs, it could be software, it could be equipment, anything that you pay out on, insurance and licenses and networking, literally anything that you pay for that keeps your business moving, running, and business coming in. Then you want to think about your desired salary. So what do you want to be earning every month, every year? Then you need to think about your goals. What is it you're aiming for? Do you want to take an office space soon? Do you want to hire somebody in the next 12 months? Any number of things in our goals that can have a financial impact that we need to account for in our pricing. And the final thing that I always encourage people to include is a contingency. And that's really been demonstrated as necessary in the last 12 months when pandemic came and the economy froze, and for some of us it's got back going again, for others it hasn't, but having a contingency gives you some breathing space. So I always advocate having 3 to 6 months operating expenditure in savings in a bank account, and again you can take that into consideration when you're looking at your pricing and what you need to build into your pricing. So once you know what your desired turnover is, then you need to gross it up. So make sure that you have the pre-tax number. So you want to be aware of how much tax and how much national insurance you're going to have to pay, and therefore what the total is that you're going to have to earn to get that desired salary and cover all your bills and everything. So get that gross number. And then you want to divide it by the amount of time you're going to have to spend working on client stuff. So if you think about the structure of your week, how much time in the week can you dedicate to client work? And then think about your year. How many weeks do you want to work a year? How many weeks holiday do you want a year? Do that calculation, and then you'll come out with a basic hourly rate. And I know I said I don't do hourly rates and we need to move beyond time for money, but this hourly rate is not something you'll ever show to clients, and it includes things like your OPEX and your salary and your holidays and the admin time that you spend on your business. So it's not an hourly rate in the traditional sense, but certainly one that takes that holistic view of your business in and makes sure that you're covering everything that you need to cover. So the next part of the calculation is to multiply the hourly rate by the time it takes you to deliver the service and then add on any costs. And then the final part of the calculation is more subjective. So this is around the transformation and the impact to your client and then your market research. So you want to balance the two. You want to be really clear about where you want to sit in the market. So are you a high-end, mid-range budget service? And therefore, make sure that matches to your audience and look at what they're prepared to pay, what your competitors in that space are currently charging. But then you also want to think of the impact to them. And the illustration that I always use is around blog writing. So for me to write a semi-decent blog, I outsource mine to a copywriter. So for me to write it, it would take me about 4 hours to do all the research, get something semi-decent together and get it uploaded. That's too much time for me in my business. So it's something I outsource. It's not a skill set that I have. So I outsource it. My blog writer takes about an hour to churn out an incredibly good blog, which covers all of my points that I've put in the notes, and it's fantastic. So if we were charging based on our time, I would be more expensive for the blog than she is, but she's the expert. So that's why basing it purely on an hourly rate makes no sense. This is where you need to think about the impact and transformation to the client, because actually my blog writer saves me 4 hours every blog, or 8 hours a month, because I put out 2 a month. So for me, that's a day's work, and it takes her 2 hours. So obviously the impact to me is far greater than the time it takes her. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration. And this is where your research comes in. This is where your feedback forms come in, so that you can understand the impact that you're having on your clients. This is where just picking up the phone and chatting to them really helps, because whilst we may start at a certain price, as we learn and move through and evolve our business, we'll get to understand the impact that we're having in much greater detail, and then we can make sure that our prices are reflecting it. The end state that you want to get to is a price that it aligns with your values, it supports your business and your goals and you and your salary, it supports your health so that you're not burning out, and it's something that you can talk confidently to your clients about. And I know, when I've worked with clients, this is the one thing that they all have in common in the feedback, is that they say that they now feel confident talking about their pricing, and whereas before they might have just guessed at it and the price might not have been far off what we came up with, but because now they understand how that price is shaped and built, they feel more confident talking about it. So sometimes, we can be really intuitive as business owners and think, I think it's kind of worth around this much, and not be far off. But that doesn't give us the confidence that we need to go out with our business and tell people about it and sit in conversations about our services and talk about pricing. When you know what's behind it, when you understand how that figure has come to be, all those doubts disappear, so that the questions on negotiation, on people challenging it, doesn't matter anymore. You know why you're pricing that much, it's justified, and you can confidently state it and not compromise on your pricing as a result of a lack of confidence. So if this is the kind of pricing you want to look at, you'll find a link in this blog, or click the link at the bottom of the video to the blog, and that link will take you to my pricing calculator, which I've pulled together for service-based businesses. Hopefully that will help, and of course if you have any questions or you decide you want a bit more structured help and someone to look at it with you, you know where I am. You can contact me anytime. On Instagram I am at Innovate and Thrive Co. My website is innovateandthrive.co, and I would love to hear from you. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you've learned something. I hope you go and take it away and apply it in your business. Please let me know if you do, because I would love to hear from you and hear how it's gone. And I will see you next time. Take care.